This evening, the government is appealing a High Court ruling on the teachers' strike and salary deductions. Attorney General Anand Nandlall argues that the decision contradicts key legal principles. Stay tuned for the details on this ongoing legal battle. Next, a significant financial move as the Ministry of Finance announced a $300 million withdrawal from the Natural Resource Fund. Find out how this impacts the national budget and the country's financial strategy. Don't miss this important update. In agricultural news, Ghana is on track to save over $150 million on crop imports by the end of 2025. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali shares how strategic planning and investments are driving this remarkable progress. Stay with us for more on this promising development. Also tonight, Dexter McDonald, known as Lava, has been arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including robbery and discharging a firearm. We'll bring you the latest on the charges and what lies ahead in court. And finally, Argentina's President Javier Milei takes the stage to promote his new book amid economic challenges. Learn how his rock star-like performance is capturing the nation's attention. All this and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for May 23rd, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, government appeals High Court ruling on teachers' strike and salary deductions. The government has requested the Court of Appeal to overturn a High Court decision that supported teachers' rights to strike for collective bargaining and ruled that their salaries should not be deducted for days they participated in the strike. Attorney General Anand Nandlall also asked the Court of Appeal to pause part of the High Court's ruling from April 19, 2024, explicitly stopping the government from continuing to deduct union dues from teachers' salaries and transferring them to the Ghana Teachers Union. Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein explained that the government ceased deducting union dues because the GTU had not provided accounting records to the Auditor General since 1989 and the Registrar of Trades Union since 2004. The government, aiming for transparency and accountability, decided to review this practice. Nandlall argued that the High Court judge was wrong in ruling that teachers had a right to strike, noting that the Constitution only guarantees the freedom to strike, not an explicit right. He also contested the judge's decision that striking teachers should be paid in full, arguing that it contradicts the no work, no pay principle and the Labor Act, which states that wages should not be paid for work not performed. The government hopes the appeal will lead to a reversal of the High Court's decision and provide clarity on the legal aspects of striking and salary deductions for teachers. In other news, the Ministry of Finance announced a $300 million or approximately 63 billion Ghana dollars withdrawal from the country's Natural Resource Fund on May 20th. This follows a $250 million or approximately $52 billion Ghana dollars withdrawal in March, bringing the total withdrawal for the year to $550 million. The National Assembly approved the government's request to withdraw over $1.5 billion in 2024 to support the national budget. Additional withdrawals will be made in tranches throughout the year. As at the end of April, the NRF held over $2.6 billion. The recent withdrawal and potential oil sales receipts will be reflected in the May report. Moving on, Ghana is set to save over $150 million on crop imports by the end of 2025, thanks to strategic planning and investments in its agricultural sector. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali announced this during the Private Sector Commission's 32nd annual meeting in Georgetown. These savings will come from reducing imports of crops such as onions, corn, soya, and beans, as well as agricultural inputs such as fertilizer and chemicals. President Ali highlighted that the agriculture sector has grown significantly and ongoing investments aim to sustain this growth. The government's effort to boost the agricultural sector includes the groundbreaking Gas-to-Shore Energy project, which is expected to cut energy costs by 50% and stimulate manufacturing. Additionally, plans to double cassava production, increase yields from 15 to 30 tons per hectare, and make significant investments in aquaculture, particularly prawns production, are in place. Ghana aims to become self-sufficient in corn and soya by the end of 2025 and produce all its livestock feed by October 2024, cutting costs by half. President Ali emphasized the achievements despite challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic and natural disasters. Stick around when we return. Ghana Defense Force Chief of Staff title changed to Chief of Defense Staff, and GNDS seizes over 160 unapproved measuring instruments in nationwide surveillance.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Fellow TikToker followers, he is credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour. And then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boiling high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she probably buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's the best for your eyes. Harvey Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Inspectors from the Ghana National Bureau of Standards Legal Metrology Department are conducting extensive surveillance at shops and markets nationwide to ensure the use of verified measuring instruments in retail trade. So far, more than 160 unapproved and unverified instruments predominantly blue domestic dial scales have been seized and removed. Since May, GNBS inspectors have made impromptu visits to several markets in and around the city, including Stabroek, Borda, Kitty, Rijmveld, Plaisance, and Maripo. Similar visits commenced in other regions in April following the verification period. To date, 405 shops and 1,230 stalls have been inspected nationwide. The GNBS has cautioned vendors and shopkeepers against using blue dial scales. They are not suitable for commercial trade due to their inability to withstand frequent use, leading to inaccuracies. Instead, the GNBS recommends using verified electronic scales, equal arm red scales, and platform scales. Consumers are advised to check for the GNBS's approval seal on the measuring instruments to ensure their verification. GNBS inspectors will continue their surveillance throughout the first half of the year to remove all unapproved and unverified instruments from retail trade, protecting consumers from inaccurate measurements. To avoid seizures, users can submit unverified measuring instruments for verification at the GNBS headquarters in Sophia or any of its branches nationwide. On a different note, 31-year-old Dexter McDonald, also known as Laba of Buxton, Middlewalk, East Coast Demerara, was arrested on May 17th and charged with multiple offenses. These include robbery under arms against Sharon Sarju and discharging a loaded firearm with intent against Colin Rodney. McDonald appeared before Magistrate Fabio Azor at the Vigilance Magistrates Court on May 21st. He pleaded not guilty to the robbery charge and was not required to plead guilty to the firearm discharge charge. Bail was denied and McDonald was remanded to prison. The next court date is set for June 19. Additionally, 58-year-old Wayne Summers and 45-year-old Sean Baines, both of Victoria Village, East Coast Demerara, were arrested on May 17 for harboring a wanted person, Dexter McDonald. They appeared in court alongside McDonald, pleaded not guilty, and were also denied bail. They were remanded until June 18, 2024. In other news, the Ghana Defense Force has officially updated the title of its Chief of Staff to Chief of Defense Staff, which will apply to the current head, Brigadier Omar Khan, and all future leaders. This amendment to the Defense Act was passed in the National Assembly last Friday. Prime Minister Brigadier Mark Phillips presented the amendment, highlighting that the new designation aligns with the modern military practices and the naming conventions used by other countries, particularly in the Caribbean. The term Chief of Staff as the head of the military is virtually unused internationally and has been relegated to an appointment of a subordinate unit to the head of the military. Prime Minister Phillips explained. He emphasized that the title Chief of Defense Staff is more recognized globally and noted that this change could strengthen Ghana's defense structure. Despite the title change, the Chief of Defense Staff's role and responsibilities will remain the same as outlined in the Defense Act, Chapter 1501. The amendment received support from the parliamentary opposition. President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, had announced in February that this change was forthcoming to align Guyana's military structure with regional standards. Don't go away after the break. Strong punishment. China starts 2 days of military drills around Taiwan and tornadoes in Iowa. Residents survey the damage as more on the way.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome to Fortune Investment Company, your #1 eco-friendly cleaning and janitorial company in Guyana. At Fortune Investment Company, we specialize in commercial and residential cleaning. Whether it's your home or office, our experienced team is detail-focused and take pride in providing excellent services to make your spaces sparkle. Restaurants and kitchen cleaning? Aren't you tired of hearing your chef complain? Keep your culinary spaces spotless and hygienic with our dedicated maintenance services. Floor scrubbing and polishing? Elevate the look of your home or business. Give your floors a new lease on life with our professional scrubbing and polishing. But that's not all. We also offer power washing and steam cleaning. Say goodbye to dirt and moss. Our power washing services will leave your surfaces looking brand new. Revitalize your carpets, mattresses, and chairs with our thorough steam cleaning services. When you want someone to clean your space with care and without the unhealthy chemicals, you want Fortune Investment Company. Call us now at 646-0405 or 689-7558 or 639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jacksonville Housing Scheme, North Rumville to schedule your cleaning and janitorial services. Visit our business pages at Fortune Investment Company to learn more about our services and promotion. Fortune Investment Company, where cleanliness meets perfection, because a clean space is a happy space. And remember, we do the dirty works while you stay clean.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Dominica urges the United States to reverse its designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, citing a lack of evidence for such claims. Dominica's government expressed concerns over Cuba's inclusion on the list, emphasizing that Havana does not support terrorist activities. Washington recently removed Cuba from a list of countries not cooperating fully with counterterrorism efforts, acknowledging improved law enforcement cooperation. The designation, reinstated by former President Trump, had worsened Cuba's economic crisis, leading to shortages of essentials. Dominica calls for the normalization of U.S.-Cuba relations and the lifting of economic sanctions to enhance peace, stability, and growth in Cuba and the Caribbean. Argentina's President Javier Milei has given a rock star-like performance to promote his new book, Capitalism, Socialism, and the Neoclassical Trap. It comes as the country's economy has slowed, with construction and manufacturing industries being hit the hardest. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bow reports.
I am the king, the Lion King, sang Argentina's President Javier Milei. He presented his new book, Capitalism, Socialism, and the Neoclassical Plot, with a music show in a stadium in Buenos Aires. The book is meant to spread his libertarian ideas, where he opposes any type of state intervention.
I speak about my journey on how my thoughts changed from being post-Keynesian Marxist until I became a disciple of the Austrian libertarian anarcho-capitalist school.
Milei spoke for over an hour about his book and the economic theory he continues to defend.
Javier Milei continues to try to distance himself from traditional politics by establishing a direct communication with his followers using alternative ways like social media and shows like the one happening in Buenos Aires. But Milei is also implementing one of the harshest austerity plans in Argentina's history. And for many, he's using this show to try to divert attention from the real issues affecting people in the country.
Milei's main priority since taking office has been to reduce soaring inflation. And in order to achieve it, he had to reduce public spending to reduce the deficit. Inflation is now going down, but Argentina's economy is expected to contract by more than 3.5% this year. Beyond the drop in activity, factories are anticipating major layoffs. But his supporters insist he's on the right path. Luca Escobar says Milei is delivering on his promises.
Argentina has had a problem for many years and he is starting to fix it. He is bringing down inflation and the economy will get better in a few months.
But it's not just economic troubles he's facing. This week, Spain announced it is permanently withdrawing its ambassador as a result of a growing diplomatic feud with Argentina. Milei, a close ally of Donald Trump, sparked a row last weekend by insinuating the wife of Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez was corrupt.
He says it like it is. So I think that Milei knows that for his electorate, his constituency, that is something that is going to be viewed in a positive light. So I think a really amateurish way of dealing with important stuff.
Argentina's president behaves like a rock star, and polls show his followers continue to believe him. But many are beginning to question whether he's the right man to guide Argentina towards a more constructive economic path. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, Taiwanese forces have mobilized in response to 2 days of Chinese military drills around the island. Beijing says the exercises are punishment for the separatist act of its new administration led by Lai Ching-te. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
Lai Ching-te has been Taiwan's president for less than a week, but Chinese leaders have already judged him to be a threat to Beijing and its goal of one day claiming control of the self-governed island. In response, they've launched 2 days of intensive military drills around Taiwan. The Chinese People's Liberation Army says the joint sea and air exercises focus on combat readiness, controlling the battlefield, and precision strikes on key targets. State media say their purpose is clear.
This is a strong punishment for the separatist acts of Taiwan independence forces.
The so-called separatist acts refer to Lai's comments during his inauguration on Monday.
I hope China will face the reality of the Republic of China's existence and respect the choices of people of Taiwan.
That choice, he said, was for Taiwan not to be subordinate to Beijing. He also thanked the United States, the island's most important ally, for its security support. Chinese officials were furious. Foreign Minister Wang Yi called Lai's speech a hostile and provocative disgrace and said Taiwanese separatists would be nailed to a pillar of shame. The military drills coincide with the release of a series of posters featuring weapons titled Sacred Weapons for Killing Taiwan's Independence.
Lai Ching-te says he wants peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and to maintain the status quo. But according to Beijing, those messages are not in line with his refusal to accept Chinese sovereignty.
Chinese leaders also consider Lai's closeness to Washington to be collusion with external forces. Speaking from Australia, a US general said Beijing's preparations for a possible offensive were nothing new and warned of the devastation of such a conflict.
At stake would be untold numbers of lives, trillions of dollars in global economic damage, and an international order, the maintenance of the international order that's delivered relative peace and stability over the past 80 years.
It's a cost China doesn't want and can't afford anytime soon. But the message it sends is clear. China is ready for war, if war should come. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
Finally, a swarm of powerful tornadoes has devastated part of the U.S. Midwest state of Iowa. In the worst hit town of Greensfield, 4 people were killed and dozens were injured. Rescuers are still searching through the rubble of destroyed homes as more storms could be on the way in the coming days. Al Jazeera's Rob McReynolds reports.
At least 26 tornadoes ravaged 3 states, doing the greatest damage in Iowa.
It is just horrific. It's hard to describe until you can actually see it, the devastation.
Much of the town of Greenfield, population 2,000, was torn to pieces. Many residents are stunned and trying to cope with the extent of the damage. Donna Pruitt's family home has been wrecked.
We're just going through the motions. You know, like I said, just picking up stuff.
In the region known as Tornado Alley, violent springtime storms are a fact of life. But this swarm of twisters was particularly large and powerful, moving rapidly from west to east, gaining strength as it bore down on fields and farms. Residents rushed to shelter.
We got the reports in that the weather was going to be bad and there was a tornado heading our way, and so I took my kids to the basement.
Authorities say multiple people were killed and dozens are being treated for injuries.
When we have this many homes that have been destroyed and just fully demolished, we want to make sure that every resident, every person is accounted for.
Trailers were flipped like toys and wind turbines smashed to the ground. Tens of thousands of people were left without power, and the Weather Service says more storms are on their way over the next several days. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the spread weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 5:30 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.